Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Right there, me, am Amalgam Ash, and this is my third devlog, third recorded devlog of Ash and Nil, an adventure ? Fourth wall breaking visual novel experience that I am creating using RPG in a box. Hi, Nil. Nil can't talk because she doesn't have a face right now in the editor, and that is fine. So we have, I know, rude, I'm sorry, Nil. We have 6 items that I have dropped onto the map because this is a learning experience for me primarily. I guess tied with being something that I'm actually building. This is also my chance to try out scripting and assigning scripts to objects that I place on the map to see how all of that kind of works and get a feel for a workflow. So this is the same map that I created in the first devlog, and these 6 items I just kind of chose at random to throw down here and have something to interact with. And by the way, tried out the procedural sky feature. Love that. It gives my world so much more depth and life already. Love that feature. Very, very cool feature. It's nice to feel like you're at home while you're deving your project, while it's all taking shape, like you're comfortable in the world in which you are creating. So, on to these objects. I've got my map editor open for the map tools. I've got my editor selected, or edit rather, and I click each one of these and see the entity overview, the name of the model, its coordinates, its ID, groups, and script if it has any. I'd like to start attaching script to these things. Well, I actually made 6 very simple scripts off camera. Started with a message, which is the default thing that appears whenever you create a new script. You get the start panel and the display message panel, or I suppose these are nodes, and they are linked by default with a speaker entity of none on the hello world message. For message 2, I wanted it to be basically the same thing, but character selected. And for message 3, I wanted it to be a lot more complex and have multiple lines, boxes, and have the other party member talking as well. So if this works, I'll be able to show off what I did. And if it doesn't work, I'll be able to show off what I did wrong. I also made myself a pickup event, which I didn't do anything with, and I've got a join event. Did I say 6 events? I meant 5. But anyways, this one would have the character Nilbog joining the party, and she's got a member ID of Nil, and the message will say Nil joined. I believe that's all I've got to do. So, because when you add the character, when you add the party member, I believe this panel you are assigning them a member ID, and if you're doing that, then you can start interacting scripts with this character using that member ID. For things like this message 3, we've got character, and I can click on that, and entity by ID, and I can just type in Nil. I do believe that's how I can do this, but I don't know for a fact that that's how it's going to work, so let's save all of the stuff that I have done. Close that because I'm not doing that. Join, message 1, message 2, message 3, and pickup are my scripts. Time to go attach them to the models on the map. Now, RPG in a Box doesn't have like an event placer like some RPG engines have. I know that this is a common workflow for RPG Maker. Smile Game Builder does it. Instead of placing down an entity on the map, you actually go and you grab something and place it down, and it will have an event attached to it by default. In other words, it'll have a script attached to it by default. This seems to be a different mindset where you create your scripts in a separate area, and then you link your scripts to the objects that you are placing down. Now, this has con of being something new to learn for people who are familiar with the other system, but it has the pro of absolutely everything that you have set down in your map can have an ID. Absolutely every tile, every object, they can all have entity IDs, and there are many scripts that will act on these entity IDs. So let's call this entity ID right here, or actually let's call this bag. Let's call this bag, all right? And we'll put an event on this tile. We'll actually go ahead and put another bag of loot here. Put an object on that tile. We will select that object, entity properties, and we'll create a script that causes this bag to move over to this bag, just so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm not going to put any other scripts or anything on this object here, but I'll do that after I test what I'm about to test. So let's quick play, and we'll just expect the whole thing to crash immediately after the map loads. Oh, I forgot that I had my I forgot that I had my map that I made during my live stream. Did you guys miss my huge end of year live stream where I streamed for like 4 hours in the latter half and like 2 in the first? I have made what is a pretty close approximation of my studio. It is a little more cluttered, messy, and dark back here. It's not as clean and nice looking, but this is pretty much the room in which I work. I've got my ring lights set up. I have my camera on a tripod on my desk, but that didn't make it into the map for some reason, but I'll fix that. And my lovely voxel form, which was created by Laser Burns. It's a pretty close approximation of me, so it's kind of nice looking in this world here, and I'm quite okay with the black everywhere else, and seeing that, you know, I've got this miniaturization in my studio. And I'll work on this and improve little things here and there, but for the most part, that's actually where the game will start. So you'll see Ash here and get to walk around and interact with things with what little there is. We need to make a start point elsewhere, however, so let's do that with the startup script. Yeah, the startup script here is not like something you take for granted. It's something you're actually gonna have to make sure you implement. We have a startup script for the overall game, and then we have map preload scripts. And as was kindly explained to me by Justin in the first devlog video, I had placed a map startup script, map preload, and that wasn't going to work because that was causing the startup script and the map script to kind of talk over each other. So anyways, Ash World, we will, it was more that it had a load map and it was just going over and over again. We're gonna go scene for picks. Player position is going to be, let's grab an appropriate player position. So we have the select tool highlighted. We can right click on a tile. We can copy the XYZ coordinate, which is a tip given to me by 8 Pancakes for lunch quite a while back, but I remember it. Very helpful. And we can paste that there and boom, pasted it. We're done. We save that. We hit quick play. So easy. So easy. Right, here I am. These guys are objects on the map. No worries. This worked out fine. Things here. So I'm done. It didn't crash. I'll go ahead and test out the scripts now by attaching them to the objects that I've placed in the map editor. So the first thing we're going to do is select the stump. We'll go to Entity Properties over here. You can use your map tools on the map. You'll often be coming over here to use these controls while you're building your maps. Entity Properties is just a tab click away. And then for this tree stump, we are going to have the script that we add and trigger the event the character will interact. I don't have any other trigger event methods from which to select, but fine. I'm going to give that one message number 1. For this one, we have character enters tile, character stops on tile, and character exits tile. So I guess this is actually a tile instead of an object. That's pretty interesting. The fact that it's a tile gives me more trigger events, but because I think I would rather that not be. Oh, I'm wrong. That's actually bushes. I mean bushes, but it's in the objects tab. So what's the difference between the stump and the bushes? That bushes don't give me the same selections as the stump. Or am I right-clicking on... Oh, I was right-clicking on the tile. I was right-clicking on the tile and not the object. That's interesting. Okay, so the object does act the same way as the stump. They're both objects. They will both say character interacts. All right. Everybody who was typing up the response to help me realize that, don't worry about it. Hold down that backspace key. I got this. Script message 2. And then we'll highlight the object, not the tile. We'll attach message 3 to that. We'll highlight, almost got me again, object, and we'll put the pickup on that. I didn't actually make a pickup script, so instead of that, we'll remove the script, none. Now for nil, we will put a script on nil. And you can actually right click on these objects and you can add a quick script or assign an existing script. I love that. We will right click on nil, and I don't need to right click on her. You can also open objects in the voxel editor just by right clicking on them in the map, which is really cool. We'll go ahead and like to add a script per here. When player interacts, run script join. All right, I think we're done. We can save that. We can go ahead and test play. Made some serious changes. First thing I'm going to do is go interact with the stump. Hello world. That works. The next one doesn't seem to work, and the third one does not seem to work. So that's okay. That's something I can figure out. We can see what I did wrong. Hey, Nil. Nil joined, and now Nil is on my party. Oh, I love that. I love the drums kicking in. Now Nil's in my party, but I don't have any way to check that currently. I just have, yeah. Oh, I do have a bag icon inventory, but I don't have any other layouts or menus or anything in this game. So we'll go ahead and quit. What did I do wrong here? Message 2 should happen whenever the character interacts. I don't get it. The stump works. but everything else is the same. So there must be something wrong with the scripts. So message 1 is hello world, and the speaker entity is none. Message 2, the speaker entity is character, and I have it set to player, but maybe that's not going to work. Maybe I need to have it party member. Maybe the party member has got to say Ash. We'll do that, hit OK. And then for our message 3, save it. For our message 3, we've got the same thing going on, where the party member needs to be Ash, none, and then character nil. I have entity nil, but I don't have party member nil. Let's do party member nil. She'll be a member of the party by then, I think. We'll try interacting with it before and after I go have her join the party. We'll see what happens. Once I get all of this figured out, these will become tutorials, short form tutorials. Okay, that still does not work. I get the hello world, nil joined. I still don't have anything coming off of these items. And of course, interacted with nil more than once. Crud. Okay, so just do message 2 and hit none and make sure that it is the script and not like the object to which the script is attached. I don't know why it would be, but we'll check it that way anyways. So the tree stump works, and the item still doesn't, the object still does not do anything, even though the script is the exact same. So I guess it is the object's fault somehow. All right, so we'll set that back to where it was, and then I'm gonna go back to the map. Now I'm not any more. Oh, I think I understand. I'm not allowed to walk through those, right? So then I can't interact with that tile. Is that the idea? Like I can get this close and interact with the stump, but I can't interact with those things? And then nil is freeform walking around, so of course I can interact with her. Is that what's going on? Can I force some passability? Let's try to just go ahead and get all of that passable, just like everything else that I do for work. It's passable, if that. All right, and we'll save. That must be the whole issue. Now let's quick play. I made a joke in my stream about like whenever this happens in SGB or Baki, and I'm like, what are you doing? That makes no sense. And when it's RPG in a box, it's like, oh, that's my fault. I'm sorry. Yeah, now it works. Hello world, multi-lines and multiple boxes. She hadn't joined, but now she has joined. Multiple boxes and hello world, multi-lines and multiple boxes. Well, it almost worked. Let's take a look at my script. I mean, it worked, but it almost worked as I intended. Let's take a look at my actual scripts. So I do have the character, and it still says player. I would like it to say party member Ash. Thought I saved that. Oh, but it defaulted when I switched back and forth between them. Message 3, we're doing character Ash, none, then character nil. That's not working as intended. Let's try entity by ID and see if that does what I want, or possible that what I'm expecting just isn't going to happen. I'm expecting character's face to appear, but I think that needs to happen in dialogue editor, doesn't it? The speaker entity is what's making me expect there to be some sort of representation of who that speaker is, though, and I could be completely off about why that's there, but let's go ahead and test that one more time, and then I shall get into the dialogue editor instead. This does not work again, so we want the bushes to talk, and they do. They still say hello world, and that still says what I expect it to. And nil joins, and it still says what I expect to. So that's fine. We'll actually play around with the dialogue editor instead. So this should be easy enough. We're just going to edit the existing one, which is called farmer. Multiple lines of text. And then I assume I can... Ooh, there's a dialogue style override. I love that. And I can change the theme, and I can change the style. We'll select the Kenny 1-bit theme and leave it as default and hit OK. See what happens there. The entity ID Ash will be the dialogue starter here. Toggle compact mode, that's really cool. And we can edit the ID, which I don't need to do. And here you can also enable the localization. That's really cool. We can compact all and decompact all. Love that term. We can add a section, collapse all, and expand all. So what's the point? I see. That'll come in useful as we continue to add sections. Name? What do I call that one? Section 2? It's not linked to the first section though, so I guess that's not going to quite help me. I don't know how to carry on a conversation. I'll have to read the wiki for that. We'll go ahead and save that anyways. Get back to the script editor, and for message 2, I would like to set dialogue. Oh, I see. We set up our event panel here, right? Yep, we set the event panel to start the dialogue, and that's going to go call that dialogue window. But then I suppose we'll have all of our choices and everything set up here so that each each one of these panels will call one of those dialogue sections. Is that correct? Am I correct in my thinking? We're going to find out really quick with one more saving and one more test play. It's still called Farmer, but it's not a farmer talking. I'm not a farmer, and neither is Voxel Ash. Multiple lines of text. Did that work? Hello world, multiple lines of text. That did work because that's the dialogue that I put in the dialogue section, not the script. And the script is just calling the dialogue, and that's all it's doing. So very interesting. Let us go back to the dialogue editor. I guess I'm gonna need to set an ID. That's probably why nobody's face is showing. I probably have to grab and do this elsewhere. Grab a portrait of the character's face. I was thinking that it was possible for it to be automatically done, but that's not something I was taking for granted. I just wasn't sure. So we'll go to the game configuration maybe, and we'll play around with a couple of different places and try to figure out how to get those faces on there to where they show up. The character resource that will represent the player character is specified in the general section of the game configuration. That is where we are, and that is who I have assigned. Yes, we assign the portrait to the model in the voxel editor. That's what we do. Okay, so to do what everybody else seems to be doing, and kind of grab his face here. Capture thumbnail, capture portrait. Oh yeah. Oh, that is something. That is something right there. Image size 128 by 128. Positioning, center it, turn trim on, hit OK. We'll see what happens there. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing for Nil. Where are you, Nil? She's right here. And she's got her facial expression on, wearing that well today. Let's capture her portrait. Lovely, 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 lovely. Hers seems to be a bit bigger here. Here we go. Here we go. That's better. They say 128 by 128. That's awfully small. I'll have to shrink her down to fit in that. But I mean, I can do it. So, and accept, and image size the same. Yes, good, fine. Very well done, I hope. Now, she should have access to that portrait sound. Oh, it's automatically assigned. It just assigns itself as soon as I do that. And then we can save that. Ash will be the same thing, right? Yep, it is. And that's what I want. So now we're gonna go test play one more time. Simple hello world message, multiple lines of text dialogue, but no portrait. No portrait there either. Nil joined and no portrait. I think I can go back to the way that I originally had it in order for them to start speaking the way that I would like for them to. Character, please. Yes. No, wait, nothing there, that's fine. The message 2 calls upon the dialogue of the farmer. Message 3 does character Ash, character Nil. It's not doing what I hope. Maybe party member. Something tells me that's not gonna work because the entities aren't working the way that I think they should, because I haven't learned how the entities worked yet. I just have this idea of how I think they should work, and then pick up and everything else is fine because it's all different. So I'm going to try this different logic to see if it does what I hope it will, but it may not. If it doesn't, that's fine because it means I've got to dig into the topic of how to do that. So we'll grab Nil, make sure she can join, then multiple lines and multiple boxes. It works for Nil. There she is. My adorable goblin friend is in the text box. She has a portrait. What did I do right? That's what I need to know. It's entity, not party member. So entity Ash doesn't work for some reason on either count. No, it's party member. It's party member. It's party member. It's not entity. So we'll do party member Ash on both of these counts. That is now consistent. One more test play, last one of the dev log, and the events that I have set up, I can, oh no, now they're both broken. Oh no, they're both broken now. She doesn't talk in either of them. Okay. So we have to make her join, and then will she show up? Yes. So I see what it is. Ash is not considered a party member. Why is that? Is it because he doesn't have his name set here? There's frantic keyboards typing trying to help me right now because they know the answer and I don't. But is that it? No. That's not it. Did I not? He saved. He definitely saved. Passable, block size, speed, health, vision, custom properties. Is he not? He's not a member of the party, though? I mean, is that it? He's green. She's green in the list. That has to mean that they're party members and that they have their own IDs and all that good stuff. Well, we'll figure it out. For now, I will leave this episode here, and I will thank you all very much for watching my silly devlog for Ash and Nil, a meta experience experience in progress. Thank you very much again, and I will see you tomorrow. Until then, have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye for now.